Okay, so I'm doing this August accountability video for you, for those of you that weren't there at the accountability this week. So this is all about practicing excellence, and we're going back to basics with nutrition after doing the exercise basics last month. So what we're going to be covering today is a back to basics nutrition bootcamp, the 12-week transformation challenge, defining your nutrition plan, setting an outcome goal, setting behaviour goals, and what we're going to do when we go on to graduation. So I wanted just to do this clip for you to show you that, you know, whatever you're struggling with at the moment, it's not whether a case of whether you can, it's whether a case of whether you will. And what I'm hoping to do through this 12-week nutrition bootcamp is get everybody on the same page, so that you're all feeling in control, you all know you're working towards the same goal, and you are going to get there regardless of what it is. So every single one of you is capable of doing whatever you want to do. Another reason is that I want you to start moving away from needing to be motivated, because what that actually means is if you constantly need to be motivated, then whatever your goal is actually isn't the right goal for you, because it's not internalized. What we're looking for is internal inspiration. Okay, the fact that you are inspired to do something it's much easier, because it means that you have internalized your desire for something. So some of the process we're going to go through on the sheets that you've been given are to help you really kind of find the goal that inspires you, and it might not actually be the one that you think it is, or it might be a goal that relates to your weight loss desires or your fat loss desires, but actually you can use something else to kind of get you there. And I hope that will make sense to you as you go through the questions. So if you're looking for inspiration, you will find some kind of quite harsh questions to ask yourself on the forms that you've been given. But just a quick thing. So obviously none of us are getting any younger, and as we get older and we experience life, and we've done things to get us to where we are, we need to think about if we've got things in our family, diabetes, high blood pressure, coronary heart disease. Some of these have got, you could be genetically predisposed to getting them. Also, are you already suffering with joint discomfort or digestive disorders and so on? If you are, you need to be making it a priority, and don't be looking at it from a point of view of what you look like, but actually how you're functioning inside. Because whether we like it or not, we all die a little bit more every day, and whatever we do now is actually going to contribute towards our quality and length of life. Do you want to think about feeling more attractive to your partner? Do you feel comfortable when you're in the bath? It might seem a little bit shallow, but I think it's important for people to be able to feel attractive to the opposite sex, or the same sex, if that's the way you do it. Do you want to remain functional and fit as you age? Because we all, you don't want to wait till 70 and suddenly realise that you can't move around. You want to be able to do that kind of stuff and prepare yourself now. Keep your muscles active, keep your brain active as well. And after trying to teach you those TRX rotations yesterday, obviously we do know we were getting brain training when you train. Do you have a dangerously high body fat? We discussed this in accountability as well. We all need to be looking at getting a body fat really in the kind of the low 20s if we can. And, many of us aren't there. And we know that this visceral internal fat, which is sort of around the abdomen area, very evident around the abdomen area, is chemically active, can cause inflammation inside the body, and releases all kind of chemicals, and we need to kind of get rid of that. Can you be inspired to do a fitness goal? Can you set yourself up for a run? Could you do a triathlon? Could you teach yourself to do canoeing? Something different. How about booking on a professional photo shoot, or focus on the fact that you don't have a good relationship with food and your mind? So do you need to work on your mind and body relationship? And do you really want to be the you that you want to be? So if you're not particularly happy with what you are now, accept that that's what you are. That's the most important thing. You have to accept where you are right now, but you don't have to accept that that's it. You just need to accept that it's going to take a bit of work and a bit of elbow grease to get to where you want to be. So once to put this in, I'm going to try and zoom in on this for you a little bit, but you can't really see the figures. So this is a visual representation of ladies' body fats. And I'm going to try and get a clearer picture for you, but it's kind of asking you, where is your body fat? So this lady here is about 10 to 12%. This one here, who looks sort of really quite average these days, is just over 30%. This one here is sort of 20 to 25. We need to be looking at these kind of figures here to achieve a healthy relationship. And whilst a lot of us go, that's not achievable, it is achievable. It's going to take a lot of hard work. But I think we've got so used to seeing ourselves and a nation as being bigger that we forget actually that what is technically healthy and normal. And as I was reading through the papers at the weekend, I came across this story of a lady here. I didn't read it all to get her age, but obviously she looks very, very young, and she was so overweight and had obviously associated health problems that she had a stroke, and obviously that freaked her out a little bit. So to help her to focus and get her goal, she decided to book herself a photo shoot to lose her weight, and that's how she ended up. So she looks absolutely incredible, 10 stone 10 pound. And you know, and I think that's a really, really good thing to do for yourself. Okay, so we know that failure is a demotivator. All right, so okay, if you're where you are now and you go, well, I've reached another month in the year and I still haven't reached my goal, there are lots of chances actually that you didn't even set a specific enough goal with steps to get there, and you might not have written it down somewhere you could see it. You have to write these goals down. But let's move away from that and let's focus on what you have achieved. And it doesn't matter how small. If you've managed to keep taking your vitamins, give yourself a clap. If you've managed to drink your water, if you've managed to exercise 4 times a week, if you've managed to not go on a binge, these are all really, really positive little steps that will stay with you for life. And what I want you to do is try and think about how you achieved that. And can you replicate it? And what can you take away from that? So if you found that you achieved something by setting yourself a timer to remind yourself to do it, can you use that towards something else? So if you did it for your water, can you do it for your food? Could you agree, you know, if you agreed that you would plan and you was an exercise Monday, Wednesday, Friday, could you then say on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I'm going to plan my meals? Do you see what I mean? So you're making little steps each time to make it easier and easier for you. So when you do something successfully in life, whether it's to do with work or personal life, can you take some of those elements and put it into your nutrition to help you achieve your nutrition goals? And the other thing you can focus on is your associated bonuses. So that means, you know, by partaking in this, what other things do you get out of it that you might not necessarily think about? So saving money by reducing the number of takeaways you have, reducing the alcohol you have, and reduce food waste and making the most of your food. If you've made something with chicken and you filleted the chicken, you know, make yourself a good stock or some soup. You will save time by meal planning and food prep. I know it's time up front, but the stress relief and the time relief afterwards is amazing, which brings us down to the decreased stress. And we all know that increased cortisol can lead to increased fat gain, especially around the middle. You will have a healthier family because your partners and children will hopefully take it on as well. The avoidance of undesired outcomes such as the feeling of bloatedness, hungover, blood sugar swings, depressed and angry at your lack of achievement. You know, you can avoid all this. And perhaps most importantly is obviously the chances that you will decrease your blood pressure, your triglycerides, your internal fat, which will lead to reduced risk of coronary heart disease and diabetes. So that should really be a big takeaway for you. So let's get back onto the Transformation Challenge. Okay, so we're going to go for 12 weeks, hopefully, of detailed or more detailed nutrition coaching. Weeks 1 to 4 is our focus on reaching 80% plus compliance. You're all going to start with your own program, whether it's a metabolic effect protocol, a metabolic effect burner specific, or a precision nutrition method. And every 4 weeks, I'm going to be giving out a £100 cash prize to somebody who I feel might not necessarily have, you know, made the most difference in inches, but has either, I can see, and me and Lynn can see, has really changed their attitude, has given it 100%, as you know, they feel happier, they're giving it everything. So I'm not going to say it's specifically one thing. It's going to be a discussion between me and Lynn on who we think deserves that £100 at the end of the 4 weeks. So what nutrition plan is for you? So let's look at the metabolic effect burner specific. Okay, these can be found on the website at revolution.co.uk under the members area, and your password has been sent to you in an email. If you go on to this burner specific, it tells you a 7-day plan for a mixed sugar and muscle burner. Okay, some of them are very Americanized, I understand that, and you're going to have to just try and work with that, but it gives you a rough idea of how and when you should be eating. Highly recommend this for people who are beginners or who have struggled with compliance beforehand, so we've kind of gone on for a couple of days, come off for a couple of days. If you know you have not committed to a nutrition plan previously, whilst you've been training with me, then you need to get on. The next one is the metabolic effects protocol, which is much more specific. If you did your totem homework, you had the option to have one of these for free. There are the examples there: low body fat, belly fat, deep bloat, polycystic ovarian, and these are much more suited to the experienced metabolic effects detective, somebody who's already been on the program, who has worked out what works for them, or somebody who is actually ready to take it by the, you know, whatever, and get on with it. Okay, they're not particularly easy. There's other things you can do with regards to supplements and so on. So only do this if you're ready to totally commit, or you've already proven to me that you have gone through the detective process already. I'm going to skip through the precision nutrition. This is much more detailed. This is for somebody who's prepared to pay for private nutrition consultations, because there's a lot more work involved on that one. So with behaviour goals, you need to choose realistic steps to prevent overwhelm. Okay, that's the basic goal. I've already picked out your outcome goal, which is to achieve compliance of 80% or more. So what do you have to do? Okay, so the first thing you need to do, again, and we talk about this all the time, is find your limiting behaviour and what can you do to work around that. So as an example, I did myself a little spider graph, okay, which you can see here. I'm not going to leave it on for long, because I don't want you to have a look at what's on it. But with just my issues, what I think are my problems, why I hold on to these particular behaviours that I know stop me from getting to where I want to go, the pros and cons. So the other thing you'll find in your sheet here, I want you to fill this "Are you ready?" sheet out, and I want you to be honest with the pros and cons sheet, which is here. And this will help you identify what your main concerns are, and then you've got to think about what you can do to get around that. I want you to review every 7 days. On your "Are you ready?" sheet, not on the "Are you ready?" sheet, on your outcome versus behaviours, you'll see week 1. We're going to review these goals every 4 weeks to stop you becoming overwhelmed by a month's worth. You might want to pick one thing, might pick 2 things, and you're going to start that sentence with, I commit to blah, 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 blah for the next 7 days. It could be, I commit to taking my vitamins and my water for the first 7 days, because that means you can almost definitely get 80% compliance on that. And then for the next 7 days, you might want to think, okay, well, now I need to really start looking at the nutrition. So I promise to, for the next 7 days, plan at least 3 days meals in advance. Or I plan to do 3 lots of exercise. Think about it. Do it this is realistic. And I'm going to be checking in on these, and I want you to fill out this compliance sheet every day. Now, I know this is to do with meals, but obviously if you've picked vitamins and water, you're going to tick 2 things in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's two weeks worth, and I expect these back. And if you don't get these back, you're not in with a chance of winning the £100. I want your name on these every 2 weeks, back in. Otherwise, you're not being entered, and they're not to be late. I don't want them all in at the end of the month. I want them every 2 weeks. Any problems with that, please speak to me in class. Keeping it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't overcomplicate things. If you suffer with high levels of stress, what you need to do is to look to take things away rather than add it in, and make rest and relaxation activities a daily and weekly priority for yourself. So first things first, you need to write down your behaviour goals for weeks 1 to 7. We are going to be starting this on Monday the 8th of September. That will be week 1. Step 2, you can, if you wish to, copy out your mood versus food, which is also in your pack. Not everyone will want to do this. A client of ours did it, and it was really easy for us to see with her where particular problems were. If you don't understand that, get back to me. That is not necessary. Your behaviour goals are. Your compliance sheet is absolutely essential. And when you've completed sections 1 to 4, or weeks 1 to 4, you will get a certificate of completion for your bootcamp level 1 nutrition. You may not all reach 80% compliance. You may not all graduate at the same time. I will continue it until you've all graduated through the whole 12 weeks. You may want to think about buddying up with somebody to provide extra support for yourself via text messages with each other, meeting up to do extra exercise outside. You may want to make your declaration of completion of commitment on the Facebook page, or to a friend, or to a partner, to declare what you're prepared to do. Okay, so there was an inspirational video attached to the end of this program, but I'll add that onto the Facebook page because I'm not going to put it on here. So that's basically it. I'm also going to be setting up a webinar to keep you focused in between weeks 1 to 2. So I'll be doing that probably the first week after. So we're going 8th, social 45th is about the 16th of September. It will be an evening, so there should be no excuses. And I'd like to remind you that accountability sessions really are not optional. They're an essential part of your program, and there's a lot of work goes into them, and you need to be attending. So I will not be doing these videos every month from now on, because you need to be there. So our next accountability is on the 1st of October, which is a Wednesday. Again, sort of 7 till 8-ish. And any other problems with this program before then, please email us and me or Lynn can reply to you. So get those behaviour goals done. If you need me to look over them, I'm happy to do that. Make sure you keep yourself free for the accountability, and I'll let you know as soon as the webinar is set up. And let's go for it. So good luck.